There's another channel called Matt's Garage. Matt is a great guy and really responsive on his channel, and he posted a really useful video for, well, it's applicable to any car, but specifically on the PT Cruiser. It shows you all of the electrical, battery and ground contact points that you can unbolt, sand, and cover with dielectric grease to protect it, prevent it from corrosion and rust. Really helps with you know, issues with starting, running, weird ground or electrical problems that maybe you have trouble tracking down. Doing this is very preventative. It's a very good idea to do, and I hadn't done it yet, so I saw his video, and so a shout out to Matt. So I will link the video that Matt did on Matt's Garage channel, where he goes into a lot more depth on the terminals, showing how he uses a Scotch pad to really clean them well, get rid of the corrosion. With every nut, he uses a drill with a wire brush to even get the nuts and the bolts clean, and then really lathers on the dielectric grease really well. I'm not going to go into that much detail. What I do want to show quickly in this video is just the process, so you're familiar with it, and all of the locations where you want to do this process on. There's 7 primary, kind of the most important locations to do this cleaning of the electrical connections, adding the dielectric grease, because these are the locations that are open to the air and the elements. You know, they could get splashed by water, and they have air on them, so they're more prone to corrosion, and that's why you want to do this process. So there are 7 main wiring connections in the PT Cruiser engine compartment that you can clean and put some dielectric grease on. Number 1 is going to be the battery, positive and negative terminals. The negative side of the battery is going to go over to the driver's side frame rail, and you have this main ground with the negative wire of the battery, and you have this ground on the firewall here. I have some additional gauges and cooling fans that are also grounded here, so there's a little more. Right back here behind the battery, mine is currently under diagnosis and disassembled, but the PDC, Power Distribution Center, there's going to be a couple connections here. You have your jumper connection, positive terminal there. You can, those positive connections right there. There's another negative wire that goes from the battery down to the upper bolt of the starter motor. It's down here behind this wiring cluster. There, you can see it down there. That bolt goes through the bell housing of the transmission and into the top bolt slot of the starter motor. The positive terminal of the battery, which goes to the starter motor, my blue wire, which would normally be red with the default stock wiring, and that green wire that you see right there, they both connect to a single terminal with a 13 millimeter bolt, or sorry, 13 millimeter nut securing them. Behind the positive wire connection back here is also this little push-on pinch clip connection with that brown wire. That is the starter motor relay wire. Goes from I think it's the solenoid up to the power distribution center. To get to the starter motor connections, it's too tight of a fit just to do it without moving something, and in the video you'll see me actually unbolt and pull forward on the entire cooling assembly. Something you can also do to give yourself more room would be to remove the fan. This is probably going to be more much more effective and give you a lot more room. You may need, yeah, you'll probably need to pull, remove the same bolts that are securing this structure here to pull that forward so that you can fit the fan out, but that's going to give you much more room to work with. Otherwise, you could try going at it from this side, which you'll see Matt do in his video, but the battery needs to be removed, and you know, possibly your intercooler cold side tube might need to be moved out of the way some. Number 5 will be this grounding wire, which goes from the strut tower, this bracket, but this grounding wire here goes to the cylinder head, the back of it. Okay, it's bolted on back there. That is important, and you want to make sure that that is connected, because that's providing a ground to the cylinder head, whereas the grounds over here on this side, you know, the one that comes off of the battery and goes down there, that's to the engine block. And between those two, of course, is the cylinder head gasket. And you want to make sure each are grounded separately, individually, so that there's not electrical connectivity through the gasket, which can corrode it or damage it, make it fail sooner. Okay, the 6th ground or positive terminal location, I'm going to go through the passenger side headlight to get there. You could try and get there through, you know, the side here, but you can see how tight of a fit that's going to be, trying to reach back in there. So if you are able to, go through the headlight there, grounding location, and that does like dash lights, headlights, tail lights. That's light assembly. The 7th connection, I'm underneath the engine now, will be the alternator connection, which, as you saw, the wire comes off of the starter motor where it's green, and then it comes back to the alternator here, connecting here, and that's usually 8 or 10 millimeter nut that you have to pull off to remove that connection there on the alternator. Some things that you can use to help with connections on the car. Here's the tool that is for cleaning the battery terminals, like actually rubbing them down, get corrosion and on the terminal itself. You stick that on there and spin it around, clean it off. This is also a 2-piece thing. You can take the top off, and you can get these at auto stores. They're really common. And then you use the bottom to rub out and clean the battery connector, the terminal connection itself. For all the things like your harness connectors and things like that, you got like electronic cleaner, deoxit, a couple of good things just to spray in, clean out connections to make sure they're good. And then on your battery terminals itself, this product is very nice and keeps that protected. You'll see me using this Permatex dielectric grease on all of the connections in this video. And I'm using this instead of like this stuff here, because the terminals we're addressing in this video are the ones that are exposed to the open elements, to air and water. So this will protect that. It won't just clean it like this might. So I already took out the bolt. Not a bad idea just to sand them anyway, so I'm gonna sand those down. That dielectric grease